This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1575. Should I be worried if he hasn't said I love you? Part 1, by Melissa Josue of melissathelovecoach.com. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us over the weekend here on ORD. I'm your host and narrator, Greg Audino, excited to begin yet another two-parter with you. So we've got a longer post. Actually, it's a Q&A. It's a segment from Melissa Josue, aka Melissa the Love Coach's advice column. Another one of her readers is looking for guidance. So let's see how Melissa approaches this question as we tune in now for part 1 and start optimizing your life. Should I be worried if he hasn't said I love you? Part 1, by Melissa Josue of melissathelovecoach.com. Dear Melissa, I've been separated from my husband for over 4 years. We have 2 children, 15 and 12. 2 years ago, I started seeing a wonderful man. He's been separated about 4 years as well, and also has 2 children around the same age as mine. Everything is going well. We've been taking things slowly and have decided now is the time to reveal our relationship to the kids. So, I guess you're thinking, what's the problem? The problem is that he's never told me he loves me. His actions indicate that he does. We talk every day and spend as much time together as possible, but he hasn't said those words. I know he was burnt terribly by his ex, and he's just protecting his heart. Should I worry about those 3 little words? Am I worrying over nothing? To complicate things further, my ex has started telling me that he wants to try again and that he loves me. He doesn't know about my new relationship. How do I let him down gently? I would appreciate any advice. New beginnings. Dear New Beginnings, thank you so much for your question. I feel you. Should I worry about those 3 little words? Am I worrying over nothing? First of all, I want to emphasize that whenever you're feeling an issue in your relationship, it is not nothing. It's a need or requirement that's not being met for you in your relationship. That's why you're feeling something. That's why your senses are flagging it. So I want to really acknowledge you for paying attention to how you're feeling and for wanting to find out what it's about. That tuning in helps you make highly conscious decisions about your life and relationship. So, should you worry? It depends on how important hearing I love you is to you at this stage in your relationship. You've been dating for 2 years, and you've been talking about going into deeper levels of involvement, like introducing each other to your kids. Knowing how he truly feels about you and knowing where his heart stands is really important to know when deciding whether or not to bring him into deeper levels of involvement with you and your family, and whether to go into deeper levels of commitment with him. Because I can totally understand your worry and hesitation. Going into deeper levels of involvement and commitment with someone without feeling truly secure in where the relationship is going, it's worrisome. Because it doesn't feel safe. It's like investing in building a house. It feels like you're making deeper and deeper emotional investments without knowing with enough certainty that the house will actually be completed and livable. So, yes, it feels worrisome and scary because while no investment is risk-free, you want reasonable assurance that your investment is going to be worthwhile and pan out the way you want it to, right? And the fact that you're worried about this means that it is an issue for you, that it is important to you on some level. So, exploring that need more deeply will help you decide what you should do. I encourage you to explore these questions. Why is hearing I love you important to you? What does it mean to you to hear him say it? What does it mean for you in your relationship? Why is hearing I love you important to you at this time in your relationship? And what do you need in order to feel loved? Some men are not very verbally demonstrative. Some men show their love in other ways. But what matters is how you want to be loved. Because if hearing I love you is something that's really important to you at this stage in your relationship, something that you need before you go into deeper levels of involvement with him, then it's important for you to talk to him about it and get clarity on it. Otherwise, it's going to continue to worry you. And that sense of worry, if it persists, will strain your relationship. It worries you because there is a need that's not being met. Whenever we experience issues in our relationship, it's because we feel that there is a need or requirement that's not being met. So exploring that, what's really at the bottom of that for you, what do you really need that you feel is missing for you, helps us get unstuck, gives us clarity, and deepens our connection in our relationship. I encourage women, before they make a commitment to men and before they get into an exclusive relationship and close off all their other options, get clear confirmation from their partner that a relationship with you is what he wants. And to know undeniably that he loves you, that he's clear on how he feels about you, that you're both on the same page about the status of the relationship and where it's going, and that marriage is on the table. That doesn't mean that he has to have proposed, but ideally you've talked about the next step and are both considering it with each other. How to know if he loves you and how to find out if you don't know. First, get clear for yourself on what you need to feel loved. Based on your own needs, how would you know someone loves you? Then observe your relationship. Is he meeting that need? One caveat, he may indeed love you and may indeed be showing it, but just not in a language that is clear to you. For example, he may be the kind of man who shows his love through giving gifts, while you might be a person who's really verbally demonstrative. My dad's like that. You won't get a hug or a verbal I love you from him. But he's there for you if you need anything, and will surreptitiously tuck a $20 bill in your bag when you're not looking for gas money. And you might see him sign a birthday card with love. Then again, it might just be dad. To be continued. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled, Should I Be Worried If He Hasn't Said I Love You? By Melissa Josue of melissathelovecoach.com. And a big thank you to Melissa for this first part of what is sure to be a great article once all is said and done. Really wonderful start here with all the emphasis she's putting on the individuality of the situation, right? Discussing it and encouraging her asker to explore it for herself. This is such a textbook approach to handling any relational hiccups like this. Asking, what do I want? Why do I want it exactly? What does it mean to me? What does it mean to them? What do they want? How do we each communicate our needs and express ourselves to one another? What is it that we're both communicating and expressing right now? And how can we better understand each other in this way, etc.? All of these questions, they truly help us lean into the intricacies of our relationships or certain problems at hand. They take away the very obtuse label of, he hasn't said he loves me and that's all there is to it, so he must not love me. When we oversimplify like this, we miss out on so much, and it's really not an option for successful relationships. So get to thinking about that, everyone, as we call it quits for today and look forward to part 2. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and I will see you again for the continuation of this post tomorrow. That's where your optimal life awaits.